Welcome along to another video talking about training this time, and 4 things to consider now that you're probably having to take your training into training at home. And some of the things that perhaps you're not thinking about that will make your home training much more effective than just kind of winging it and trying to do things that you would do in the gym and taking them to your home, because some things will need to change. The first variable we're going to want to think about is reps. So the one important thing to remember now you're taking your training to home is that we can get an effective set from anywhere from 3 to 30 reps, okay? So what's going to dictate how many reps you're going to need to do realistically is the load you have available, and for most people it's going to be less than what you have in the gym. So sets of 3 to 6 to 8 to even 10 might be now off the cards, out of the question. But that doesn't mean you can't have an effective workout doing higher reps. Higher reps don't mean, you're going to be burning fat or even some people think burning muscle. Nothing like that. You can still get effective muscle building, lean tissue retaining sets doing upwards of 20 reps per set up to 30. So what that's going to change in terms of your programming is in movements that perhaps you would have done 8 to 12, 6 to 10 reps, with lighter loads you're now going to have to take those reps up in higher reps. One thing to remember if you're doing sets with more reps is you're perhaps going to have to go slightly closer to failure to get those sets to be effective, but that still doesn't change too much actually. You're still going to be able to get plenty of effective work doing sets of 20 to 30. As long as the load and the proximity to failure are still appropriate, you're going to have fantastic sets to still build appreciable amounts of muscle. Following on from reps, you're going to want to think about your tempo, because when people usually increase their rep numbers, they also increase their tempo. When they do their 6 to 10 or 6 to 12 rep sets, they have lovely controlled tempo, reasonably explosive concentric, slowly lowering the weight back down. Fantastic. 15 rep sets, speeds up a little bit more. 20 rep sets, really fast. 30 rep sets, it's just about getting it done. Just keep your tempo consistent, because no doubt the load will have gone down. You need to keep that tempo consistent with the higher reps to get the same muscle building benefit, right? So just because it's a set of 30 doesn't mean it's a race to get those 30 done. It's not an explosive set of 30. It's not a conditioning, metabolic type workout. You still want to keep it with a focus on tension on the muscle and keeping that there throughout those 30 reps. So although the load might be easier, you now need to keep the tempo consistent to get the same bang for your buck over 30 as you would over 10. So tempo, don't rush, keep it consistent like you would in any other set. You're also probably going to want to think about changing your exercise selection. So one of the first things that's going to be a very easy, quick fix to get more bang for your buck out of your home training is to do more unilateral movements. Because again, you probably don't have as much load on offer. Split squats, single arm presses, single arm rows, all these kind of things are going to be more effective now that you have less load to use, because you can just load up that single limb with whatever weight you have available. So instantly switching out your hack squats, your 2-footed squats for split squats, your barbell bench pressing for a single arm dumbbell loaded up heavier is definitely going to provide you with a lot more effectiveness than you would have had previously. You're also going to want to think about, if you have the use of bands, using them in exercises to make them harder. So for example, a goblet squat with what might be quite minimal weight for you can become a lot harder if you slap a band around your neck or around the dumbbell, making it harder at the top of the movement where it would be easier, and just again making that exercise just a little bit more difficult than it perhaps would be on its own. Equally, selecting some exercises that perhaps work the stretch position where you're going to have heaps of muscle tension might be worth throwing in there. So things like RDLs, dumbbell flies, where it's really difficult in this open position, stretching the chest and dropping off. That might be okay considering you're going to be doing higher reps with slower tempo with less available weight. Taxing the muscle in the stretch position is going to provide you with more damage, more muscle damage that gets healed. That healing is going to provide a bigger muscle over time. So thinking about those kind of exercises and throwing them in might provide your home training with a little bit more stimulation than perhaps you might not think about when you're in the gym. The final thing to think about is going to be frequency. How often you're going to train, and specifically train each muscle group. It's unlikely, even if you were doing this before, that you're going to be able to get away with doing a bro split, simply because with less weight, less available intensity, you're just not going to rack up enough quality work in one session per week on one muscle group to actually get any effect at all. So something with such infrequent hitting of muscle groups is going to be pretty much out of the question when training from home. So now thinking about full body, upper, lower, or if you're really good or have enough equipment, a push-pull leg split is probably the right way to go and train from home. For most people, I think upper body every other day makes perfect sense. You're going to be able to get very effective workouts. You're going to be able to stimulate the muscle frequently enough, but with the equipment and load you have available, that's probably going to give you the best bang for your buck each time you train. If you do have a little bit more equipment available to you, or you have enough time perhaps, or you're very good at getting those muscles to really fire up every session, maybe an upper lower rest, and repeat type split might be a good idea as well, because again, then you can really still accumulate a lot of volume per session while still maintaining enough recovery to grow between sessions as well. So those are my 4 things you should think about now you're transitioning your training away from home. Probably a little bit late since you've all been under lockdown for at least 8 weeks so far, but still, most people still probably need a little bit of help getting their heads around how to transition from killing it in the gym to killing it at home. And I hope this helps. If it does, drop me a comment. Be sure to like the video, of course, and let me know if you want to see any more informative videos in the future on what you'd like to see discussed. And I'll catch you in the next one.